Washington Huskies players to know ahead of college football playoff. Washington faces Texas in the CFP. The Washington Huskies have an opportunity to end the Pac-12 era on a high note. With the conference essentially coming to an end, Washington snapped the Pac-12's six-year college football playoff drought by going 13-0 and defeating Oregon twice. The Huskies will head to the Big Ten in 2024, and the Pac-12 will have just two remaining teams following a summer of change. Washington will face Texas in a CFP semifinal January 1st at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's take a look at three Washington players to watch with the CFP semifinals just days away. Michael Penix Jr. has had a lengthy college career, and he now has an opportunity to finish on top after a spectacular season. The sixth-year senior lit up opposing defenses for most of the year, culminating in a trip to New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. In 13 games, Penix threw for 4,218 yards, 33 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, leading one of the top offenses in the country. The Washington passing attack is the best in the nation, averaging 343.8 yards per game. Penix is a true pocket passer, rushing the ball just 29 times this year while throwing for the most yards in the nation. Penix will need to find his early season form against Texas. Washington's offense just seemed to be slightly off at the end of the season despite going undefeated. The Longhorns are as good as any team at stopping the run, putting the onus on Penix and Washington's wide receiver corps to move the ball down the field. Texas was first against the run in the Big 12 but allowed 240.8 yards per game through the air, the fifth most in the conference. Penix may have received the Heisman buzz, but it's Rome Odunze who may very well be Washington's best player. The junior wide receiver is projected to be a first-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft and was second in the country in receiving yards, 1,428. He hauled in 13 touchdowns, sixth most in the nation. Our connection definitely comes from repetition and practices, stuff like that. I know that each and every rep, he's going to give me 100%. I don't have to worry about him taking the representative off. And I feel like that's definitely what it comes from, because once you start getting people taking reps off and not always giving that 100%, being that same guy every day, that's when things become inconsistent, Penix said on Seattle Sports Radio when discussing his connection with Odunze. But, for us, it has been very consistent because he's been one of those guys that's always going to be where I need him. Whenever the Huskies needed a play this season, it was Odunze who came up big. In Week 7 against Oregon, it was Odunze who scored the go-ahead touchdown with under 2 minutes remaining. In the Apple Cup against Washington State, it was Odunze who got the ball on 4th and 1 in Washington's own territory with the season on the line. And in the rematch with Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game, Odunze had 8 catches for 108 yards. Washington will need to keep the Texas defense honest, and Dillon Johnson is no slouch. While the Huskies are known for slinging the ball all over the field, Johnson came on in the second half of the season, averaging 136.6 yards per game in the last 5 contests, including a 256-yard performance against USC. In the Pac-12 title game, Johnson ran for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Huskies were able to outmuscle the Ducks. The Texas run defense will be Johnson's toughest test of the season. Their front 4, front 5, whatever you want to say, is elite, Johnson said on Seattle Sports Radio when discussing the Longhorns' defense. Number 90, Byron Murphy II, and number 93, Avondre Sweat. In particular, those guys will be playing on Sundays. They're really good. They have a really good defense. They fly around. They're a physical football team, and they play as a unit. It's going to be a great test for us, and we're looking forward to it.